Sioux City Police Department has released the crime statistics for the year 2020, and there are some surprising numbers. Thanks for joining us. I'm Diana Castillo.
And I'm Larry Wentz. And tonight, those numbers are first at 5 o'clock. One of the biggest increases between 2019 and 2020 was in murder and manslaughter, with 6 last year and only 2 the year before. That's up 200%. But looking at property crime, you see a drop. Burglary was down 25%. Theft down 16% compared to 2019. Overall, there was a 15% decrease in property crimes.
To break down these numbers, our Katie Koppel went right to the chief of police, who says these numbers don't paint the whole picture.
2020 was an out-of-the-ordinary year.
Sioux City Police have released the crime statistics for last year, and just by looking at the data, there were some startling numbers. But Sioux City Police Chief Rex Mueller says this is only one piece of the puzzle.
Looking at percentages kind of gives an inaccurate picture. I think you have to look at the raw numbers themselves, and these are obviously preliminary numbers, but they do give us an idea of what happened in Sioux City.
Overall, crime in Sioux City was down 10% from the year before, and as a department, they use this data to see where they need to adjust.
It starts with looking at the data and seeing where our issues are. Clearly, with property crimes going down, that's a positive, but crime has ebbs and flows. It has ups and downs, and in Sioux City, crime rate has usually been relatively steady. In fact, over the past 5 years, it's a relatively steady crime rate.
These crime statistics only paint a part of the picture. Chief Mueller says there's another key element that played a big part in 2020.
One of the things that we lost in 2020 because of the lack of personal contact is going out in the community and helping make our citizens a hard target for crime. I mean, crime prevention initiatives.
Because of COVID-19, officers weren't able to interact with the community they serve as they had in years past, which plays a big part in crime prevention.
When you lose those connections, those are something that we're really going to be trying to rebuild as we get out of the pandemic.
These officers that serve the Sioux City community are part of it too.
We are the citizens, you know, the police officers live in this community, they're part of the community, and when you can't spend as much time getting that positive interaction that we would do with community policing efforts, you kind of lose touch, and that's something that we all missed.
Chief Mueller says Sioux City actually has a pretty low crime rate.
And that speaks more about the composition of our community, the people that we have in our community, and what great people we have in this community.
For the new year, the department hopes to get back to community policing and rebuilding those relationships with the citizens they serve.
I live in this community. I live in Sioux City. I've always lived in Sioux City. This is a great and safe community, and what I would say is don't be deterred by the numbers. Any crime suppression or prevention efforts that we make are meaningless unless we have our citizens working with us. So when we're all working together on this, we make real progress.
In Sioux City, Katie Koppel, Siouxland News.
Chief Mueller says one of his main goals for the department this year is to rebuild those neighborhood relationships that were lost to COVID-19. Now, to see the 2020 crime stats for yourself, you can visit this story at SiouxlandNews.com.